welcome to Four Records. My name's Forrest. This week, it's just me, and I'm speaking with Chachy Englund from the band Round Eye. This is a pretty good interview. We talk Minutemen and Mike Watt and a lot of other bands. This is a fun one, so enjoy. Here are Chachy's Four Records.
I got you, man.
All right. How's it going?
I'm good, dude.
All right.
How's it going, man?
Good. It's just a busy day.
Oh no, same here, man. Fuck, dude. I'm still getting over the jet lag.
Oh, I bet. All right, man. So let's dig into these records, though. These were fun. These were I enjoyed your records mostly because I hadn't heard two of them.
Oh, right on. Cool.
What was your thought process as you were selecting these records?
Oh my God, dude. It was fucking a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Because it was four different selections, right? And one was from like
Yeah, 0 to
it's
10.
your age group, right?
Yeah, yeah.
0 to 10 when I was a child, right?
Yeah.
God, I had to really fucking dig in there because like from 0 to 10, it was hardly ever albums.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was hardly ever full albums. But I do remember, and my parents, I came from like a bicultural household, right? So it's like around the house, it was always either my dad's side, who's American, and like really into Elvis and like
Mhm.
oldies and stuff like that. My dad was like an Elvis impersonator. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's how
nice.
fucking into it he was. And then either that or my mom, who's Dominican, so it's just like a shitload of bachata and merengue singles, you know,
Okay.
from like the late '70s, early '80s. So, but there was always compilations in the house, especially on vinyl. And the Good Morning Vietnam one, I definitely remember. He was a huge fan of Robin Williams, and so I heard his voice before I even knew who the guy was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and on on that soundtrack in particular, there's a lot of like kind of obscure AM radio dudes, like the Vogues, like that
Mhm.
5 o'clock world song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a couple weird Beach Boys songs, like not like I Get Around, but like Warmth of the Sun, like these weird songs that were these
The kind of
ballads.
Brian Wilson-y where he's like, "Nah, we're not doing pop shit
Yeah,
anymore."
yeah. When he would get real fucking heady, you know, no more
Mhm.
car songs.
Had you watched the movie at that point, or had you seen the movie because of the soundtrack?
I'd I'd seen the movie, but I didn't really understand the context. I didn't understand the Vietnam War and what that really meant. You know what I mean? Especially now living in fucking China. And it was just a Robin Williams. It was just a funny movie that I didn't get the jokes to. I remember the first time I watched the movie, I was just kind of waiting around for the songs to play. Like the most exciting parts of that movie were the DJ segments, being a punk rock DJ in the military.
Which is essentially what he was doing. I mean, it's been a minute since I wanted to revisit it because it's been a minute since I'd seen the movie. But like
Yeah,
thinking back, I mean, it's what he was doing.
it was the Adrian Cronauer. And, you know, I read up about him. I guess they took a lot of liberties with Hollywood and because you know when you watch the movie, you're getting the impression that the soldiers are, you know, they're in the fucking jungle and listening to the Beach Boys, which isn't the case. They weren't actually listening. They couldn't receive it in combat. Obviously, super naive when I watched that movie. Like Charlie in the Jungle's getting down with fucking James Brown. I don't
Yeah.
think so, dude. I don't think so.
Does this record still hit for you like any differently today? I mean, we know we were talking about the movie and the context, like understanding the context now. But does the soundtrack hit any different for you?
I guess more for nostalgia purposes, and I really love like I love that that was my introduction to the Beach Boys as opposed to fucking like Kokomo or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, and nothing against
Kokomo.
Kokomo. I like Kokomo too, but I mean, you know, especially the world of Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson is like one of my favorite. He's like a hero to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's when I got. I mean, later on down the road, I'm obsessed with like mid-career Beach Boys,
Yeah, that's what I got.
like Surfs Up and stuff.
Yeah, I got Pet Sounds when I was in my mid-20s. My buddy recommended it to
Oh,
me, and it helped me mentally because I was, kind of working stuff out. But like, as I dived more into like mid, like you're saying, mid career Beach Boys. Fuck, like from like right before Pet Sounds, like when I grew up to be a man, like on
Oh
is like,
man,
uh,
what a song, man.
yeah,
Amazing. And it's like it's kind of weird because like you're seeing the genius of the songwriting from this dude who's half deaf, but then you got this fucking idiot like Mike Love in the corner trying to take all the credit for this shit. And I mean,
yeah.
I guess you can't have the Beach Boys without that guy. He's the
Well,
kind of
and
guy.
that's yeah. I don't like Mike Love either. I'm not a. Uh,
Can you imagine if that dude? Could you imagine if social media was around for the early stages of the Beach Boys? I think Mike Love would have gotten canceled immediately, man.
oh, fuck. Well,
There's
they
something
do.
weird about that dude.
Yeah, yeah. You always see that video of him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where he's like yelling at people or something. I always,
Total being a total prick.
yeah.
I love the videos of him in like the not mid-career Beach Boys. This is like just before. No, I guess it is mid-career Beach Boys. Do you remember what they were wearing at that point? Especially Mike Love.
What was he wearing?
Dude, he was wearing like he looked like one of the wizards out of Neverending Story. You know what I mean? Like one of the guys that hung up in with the
At the
all
castle?
the yeah at the
At the
castle,
Ivory
right?
Tower?
Crazy. He has the same gown. It's fucking nuts, and he's bald the same way as the dude that's bald in the movie.
Oh shit.
But yeah, that soundtrack. I mean, it's got a lot of cool choice cuts in it. Especially like Martha and the Vandellas are on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like even that Louis Armstrong song. Like I always remember the juxtaposition of war with that song. That's a cool part of that movie.
Barry Sonnenfeld, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he does before he went like way too poppy comic wise. I mean, he was really good at like juxtapositioning things and making a statement and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's crazy. I had no idea. I remember this happened just recently. I watched that movie not that long ago, and I was watching it. And I was like, "Do you know how they have this heavy monologue at the end when his Vietnamese friends are explaining their intentions and why they work for the Viet Cong?
Yeah.
Remember that's like the thing, like the big reveal, like he's like the enemy. I remember watching that just recently with subtitles because my wife, she's Chinese, and we have subtitles on for everything. And I was like, holy shit, the dude was speaking English that the entire time at the end. I couldn't understand what word he was saying at the end of that. And I finally understood what he said at the end of it. I was like, wow, it's actually pretty heavy. But for years, and since I was a kid, I never understood what he was saying. It's been a minute since I actually like sat down and took it like not watching it in parts and segments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gotcha. All right, so the second album was the Green Goblin project, Earth Must Be Destroyed.
Yes,
Now,
definitely.
I think it's on tour right now. I saw one of your flyers. Are you playing with them this week too?
Yeah, we're playing with them tonight in Melbourne.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a big deal for me personally. Like Green Goblin Project, they are more. It's such a weird. Like, what did you think when you heard them?
You know what? To
Have
me,
you had you ever heard of this band?
no, I never heard it, but it felt like what the Misfits did, where they're taking kind of nerdy stuff and B movie stuff and making songs about them. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and I dug it. This felt more like the Misfits than that Michael Graves era Misfits did to me.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally.
I mean,
And there's no
outside of it being
like,
horrible music, but like not this. I'm talking about the Michael Graves era. This was
oh
great. This
no,
was
I totally hear you.
fantastic.
Like one thing that's a very special Green Goblin when it comes to Central Florida, they're quite well known out here, especially in the East Coast, like on
Mhm.
the Brevard County, this Cocoa Beach, Daytona. They, I had a band previously before I moved to China, so this is many years ago, and they were called Libyan Hit Squad, and we were based out of Central Florida on the other coast, on the Gulf Coast. And I remember the very first time as a teenager, the very first time the band went outside of our shitty ass little town to play a show. And the first time I ever really remember seeing like a punk rock community, like a scene of people,
Mhm.
was in their town. And they were at the middle of it, pretty much at the height of their powers. And that was the Brevard County music scene with bands like the Green Goblin Project and the Obscene and House Call Abortions. That was the first time I'd ever seen that, like how like a community people work at like a zine, a radio station, a record label, a bunch of bands on the label. It was awesome. It was my first introduction to that. And then seeing the Green Goblin who were like the leaders of that scene at the time. Super fucking nice and very. I love the songwriting and the melodies, and it was is super like, excellent lyrics. Very, very, very cool sounding band. Like they remind me of it was like the Misfits, but if the Misfits kind of kept on the trajectory of Cough Cool, it was a cool direction for the band.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting listen because it's not all straight punk rock. I mean, there's a couple
No,
kind of slower songs on this album, and
like
they're solid, and they keep the intensity on each one.
totally. Very broody kind of music. It's super cool because I wasn't expecting that at the time when I was a kid. Like it was my first introduction to the more, I guess, a band taking their aesthetic a lot more seriously than what we were used to. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it was like it was art that I was watching. It was really cool. You know, little 17, 16-year-old me, that was like a big deal.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
42.
42. Oh, we're about the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it was, that time, there was no internet, you know what I mean? So everything was like a hassle to get coordinated and get together. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um, was did it help you did it help point you in a direction, do you feel like, do you think, was this like your I want to do punk rock moment, if you will?
Oh, 100%. 100%. That was the first time I'd ever seen a community act like that. In fact, because of that community, we got onto the label that was over there at the time, Boney Orbit Records, and we started like really planning out international joint tours with other bands on that label. So we felt like a part of a crew, you know? I mean, we went to like places like CBGB and the Milestone and like up the East Coast. And as a kid, just seeing all these places that are no longer around now, all these legendary venues.
Yeah, I was like, how old are you? So you were 16, 17 when you were doing those tours, or were you about?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Super young. Like we were so young, we couldn't even go in the fucking bars we were playing at. You know what I mean?
Oh shit. Yeah, probably
Like
had to go in the
we
back
couldn't.
to a lot of them, and then go right out the back after you were done.
Exactly. That's exactly what we did.
Did it challenge anything you believed, like musically at the time?
Hearing Goblins like that, hearing the slow songs, that gave me kind of the go ahead to kind of be creepy and kind of weird, you know what I mean, with music and just kind of, you don't have to be, uh, Mohawk fast, four on the floor, like super fat, it didn't have to be like that. You could kind of get a little more angles and dimensions with it. That was very cool. And it was cool to see it in person because at the time where I'm from, there was no internet then, man. And I had one friend, just one friend in my whole high school who had access to zines like MRR or Razor Cake or anything
Yeah.
like that. So I didn't really, the information coming in was very slow bandwidth. I mean, it was really slow. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like when they had, yeah, because it was super slow, and then you get that like the T1 thing, the T1, like when it moved up a bit, and you're like, oh
Yes.
man, it moved to like 30, it took like
Whoa.
30 seconds.
Amazing.
It
Holy
didn't take
shit.
5 minutes.
God. So it was nice having a band like that to just kind of, because every time we went over to play in Daytona or in Cocoa or Satellite Beach or Melbourne, any of these places, we kept seeing new bands. You know what I mean? So it's like the family got bigger and bigger and bigger. And that we got through there and that got us to Orlando. Yeah, it was a cool thing at the time.
What's your go-to song on this record?
Uh, in the Night We Walk.
I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, that one I really love. Or was it Blue?
Oh, Blue
I think
Rita?
it's the second Blue Rita. Yeah, that's the faster one too. I love that whole fucking record.
Yeah, it
But
was
In the Night We Walk is what I really remember as a kid. That stood out to me and made a pretty big impact.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, I like I said, this was not what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be way more. It's horror punk, but not the horror punk I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. And they took, dude, their aesthetic, they went the whole way through. Like those guys, all of them were like tattoo artists and graphic artists. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they made all their flyers. I remember Sparky, their drummer, he had like, he turned his drum set into like like a science fiction monster. So he had like this carpet all over, it made it look like fur on the drum set. And the kick drum was a gigantic eye. And it was just they really went all in on their fucking look, and it didn't affect the music writing at all either. It was great. It was a great package. Those dudes were like the first guys we met that were playing with our heroes. Like it would be regular when they were touring with like the Subhumans or Agent Orange or Hot Water Music. Like at that time, Hot Water Music. I think Hot Water Music, Chuck. Yeah, they both went to high school together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're both like childhood friends.
That's
So that
awesome.
was that connection there. Yeah,
That makes sense
Chuck and
why he's
Christian.
on the record. They
Yeah,
don't
they go
they
back
don't
a
ever
long
come out
way.
this way to the West Coast, or they just
Green
primarily.
Goblin?
Yeah.
Nah, they never really. I know they toured. They may have played California, but I'm certain that they played up the East Coast because their drummer was also the former drummer. Actually, it was their drummer and their guitar player. They were both former members of the Independents. Remember that band? It's like a horror
Ye-
punk band based out of the
Yes.
Carolinas that Joey Ramone was their manager.
I only heard a little bit of the Independents, but I think I liked what I heard.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. I'm not sure if they still play anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever made it to the West Coast. This is more of a kind of isolated to Central Florida and maybe a little up the East Coast.
I mean, they're playing with Agent Orange, so it's not like they couldn't have gotten out here.
No, they and
I'm
they
in
played with a bunch of people.
I'm in Anaheim, dude. I'm a city away from Fullerton.
Oh,
I
right
grew up,
on.
yeah, I grew up and I went to this high school I went to was in Fullerton.
Oh, that's cool. Fuck, man. I love goddamn California. Where were we when like where did you see us on that TSOL trip? Was that the
Oh,
second show?
the Santa Ana.
Santa Ana. Yeah. So
Yeah.
where is that in relation to are you in Orange County?
Yeah, I'm in Orange County. So I'm in Anaheim. It's about a 30-minute, if even that, drive away from me.
Oh, okay. Not
I just
bad.
go, that venue is, we're next to Disneyland, and that venue is like 15 minutes, 20 minutes from Disneyland, is how close.
Wow, I didn't realize we were that close. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. If you're ever out that way and you want to, go back broke, you can go there. And
And I like going to those fucking parks, man. I mean, I grew up in Orlando, you know what I mean? Like
oh,
Central Florida.
yeah. So then you've been
So we're
to
like used to that shit all the time.
your 20s. The Minutemen. What makes a man start fire? Fuck,
You
this is
know, it's
such a good
like it's very similar to the reaction I got with Goblin,
album.
like Minutemen. Because at that time, when you're in your 20s, you think you know everything, right? It's 20s are such an annoying age, especially looking back. But like I remember I got really heavily into thankfully I got really into prog rock and jazz.
Hmm.
And so, when I heard like I was listening to guys like Albert Ayler and Ornette Coleman and Sun Ra. And when I heard fucking the Minutemen for the first time and heard because when you get into the Minutemen, for me, I got heavily involved with fucking SST records,
Yeah.
like as a whole. And it was just what a fortunate thing we have. We have, I think, is one of the greatest labels that has ever existed, ever, in
Yeah.
terms of independent music.
Have
It
you read
was
that
just
book,
so, which one?
the SST
This
book?
band could be your life?
No,
I
no.
read a bunch of them.
There's one by Jim Ruland. It's called "Corporate Rock Sucks: The Rise and Fall of SST."
Oh, I heard of this. Yeah, I never read it. Never
Dude,
read it.
if
I
you're
gotta
into
check that out.
SSTs, if you're that into SST, he did his research and it is meticulous. It's about this thick, and it's
Oh,
just all
awesome.
you're just gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is the best."
I love that. Because dude, even like the smaller bands on there, the ones that didn't get so popular were like Leaving Trains and Zoot's Rift and fucking uh like all of the weird projects that would end up on there.
Hmm.
What was it, Tar Babies and Slovenly?
Yeah.
It was just a great label, man. That label, it was just amazing. Every release seemed like they were taking just the biggest swing for the fences. You know what I mean? And it always hit.
Yeah.
So many different styles and all of it punk rock. So cool. I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I have such an affinity towards Southern California punk rock is because of that fucking label. Amazing. But yeah, Minutemen, I mean, I have never heard a band like it before or like it after. Like they were like just and I was a bass player in the previous band and I was really into Watt's bass playing. It's just
Mhm.
his incorporation of fucking jazz runs into hardcore music. It's so funky, you know. It was okay
Yeah.
to be funky in the Minutemen. Super cool and like super heady lyrics, you know. And
Yep.
then I mean, I was it's such a rad thing. That's why like I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. I'm not a big fan of the show Jackass, you know, but
Hmm.
I'll watch it if it's on. But what a fucking brave move for them. What a cool badge for them to have a Minutemen song as a theme song to such a stupid show. Such a cool tip of the hat. And you know, it's so cool. I remember we were hanging out with Watt once, and I don't know where it came up in conversation. Uh, Corona, that was written by D Boon, and I guess like the proceeds of that, of the Jackass money that went to D Boon's dad
Oh, that's
to pay
awesome.
for like his retirement home and everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's good to
I was
hear.
Yeah, super cool.
Like that's the other thing you know about punk rock is like I bet like all those people like that just happened to hit. Like Jackass just happened to hit, and
Yeah.
and it's cool that I've met Watt, and Watt's was the nicest guy. My son and I went and saw him play. He was playing in Fullerton. This is a weird fucking story where he was playing. So he was playing in Fullerton, like where I used to go and drink when I was out with all my friends.
Hmm.
There's a studio. It's like a two-story building, and there's a studio above it. And my daughter used to do ballet in this studio. And then during COVID, they went under. But the last thing we saw her do there was the Nutcracker. So like 6 months before I saw Watt in that venue, I saw my daughter do the Nutcracker in the same room. And then the next thing I went and saw
Ah,
was Watt playing a set.
you should have had your daughter dance with Watt, man. That would have been amazing.
She's not into it.
Crashing of both
My
worlds.
son's into it. My son went with us, and we got pictures with Watt. He was super cool. Like he finishes playing, goes, "Who wants pictures? Let's go." And
Yeah,
just
hell yeah,
didn't
man.
like. It was like, yeah, he's just putting stuff away, and he was just stopping, and he would stop and take a picture and talk to people. Like the nicest dude.
Dude, Watt has become like family to us, like over
Mhm.
the years. I mean, every time I am always in touch with that guy. Like he is, we toured with him out here in China, and he stayed at my
Yeah.
apartment for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, just
Hmm.
crashing on my couch. And and every time we'd go to California, we always meet up with him, either to record or to hang out or to get dinner or whatever. Last time I was over there with TSOL, I had breakfast with Watt that morning. You know,
Nice.
I love him. I love him so much.
Yeah, and this like the vibe, and like, even the vibe off of him. He's just like seems like he's the happiest dude. He's like the nicest
Dude, he's got
dude.
it figured out, man. He's got the
Yeah.
whole fucking thing figured out. And he's friends with everybody. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's just totally humble about it. It's amazing. He's amazing. Still, takes his shoes off before he plays. It's just totally fucking chill.
Yeah, like I was you know what I mean, and like you said, that makes sense. Like when you told me the story about all the Jackass money going to D Boone,
Yeah,
that
man.
like that
And
makes
you got to
sense.
remember,
Like
at
that
that
totally makes
time,
sense.
why the Minutemen are still distributed by SST. Like
Hmm.
I guess they still have the masters, so they must have a cool relationship. I never asked him about Greg. And also at that time when Jackass came out, Watt I think he was with the Stooges at that point. You know what I mean? So he had a steady, awesome income with that fucking
Yeah,
band.
if not, he would be very soon.
Yeah, exactly. So he was just
And
doing great.
of all the people to like put into the Stooges, that's the guy. Like that's the perfect
Oh
fit
man,
for the Stooges. You know what I mean? Like when I
got to
saw
think
that, I was like, oh, yo, this makes
perfect,
sense. Like
perfect. Got that's
You
that's
can't have an Ashton, get a what?
exactly. And all that credit goes to Jay Mascis. He made that happen.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
That's
That's like
awesome.
I guess him and the Fog were doing like a Stooges kind of tribute thing with Watt on bass. And
Hmm.
he's like, man, you should. He hooked it up with Iggy Pop and Watt.
Do you feel like this record defined any part of you at this time?
Yeah, my bass playing, totally, man. I mean, if there's a record that Libyan came out with called Fiji, and there's a song on there called Triggers and Knives, and you can definitely hear the Minutemen all over that.
Nice.
I mean, I loved it. It was just Minutemen are such a warm sounding band. When I hear the Minutemen, I always get like a very positive vibe out of them, intellectual but positive. And it's always like maybe it's because I know like the backstory of like the friendship between Boone and Watt and how kind of tragic that whole history was. But it's a very moving kind of band. Very warm.
Yeah, I'm
Like I
trying
get a
to.
way different feeling from listening to Minutemen than Black Flag.
Yeah,
Black Flag's a
and
lot of like harsh, cynical. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's a bit of that, not harsh, but like there's a bit. It's more optimistic.
Totally optimistic.
Yeah. Despite the heavy shit they're writing about, it's very Yeah, it's very optimistic. Um,
I mean, it's like even down to the clothes they were wearing. You know what I mean? They were just like regular old dudes.
yeah,
Playing this weird, weird music.
yeah. I'm trying to figure out when I was in high school, somebody put a Minutemen record on an album, and I think it was this one. This was, fucking 30 years ago at this point. I'm trying to figure out if
Mhm.
it was this one, but it was a tape but it didn't stick at first. I was 14, so it didn't stick yet. I wasn't into jazz or anything yet,
Sure,
but it was
sure.
this and Circle Jerk's Wonderful and Repeater,
Yeah,
Fugazi.
yeah, man.
And then
Yeah.
it was when you had 2 hour tapes, you can fit, three records on it at once.
I think what introduced me to the Minutemen and this album in particular was the song "The Anchor." That was the first one that hooked me. That got me in there.
Where did you hear it at?
Oh, where did I hear the fucking Minutemen the first time? The Minutemen, I mean, in my 20s, that's when I really fucking discovered weed and started just like everything. Like I was just way, way stoned all the fucking time. And so the Minutemen were just following right into that rhythm. So I think it was like, that must have been, I don't think it was a vinyl. I think it was like, it must have been a comp. And I can't remember which one it was. I don't think it was an SST comp. It may have been, you know what? It may have been some fucking like Napster mix CD that someone made me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an MP3 or some shit like that. Because back then we were all making mixtapes for each other, CDs and stuff like that. If you're like dating chicks, you know what I mean? Like that's what we give each other when we were dating. Is just mixed CDs. That must have been. I think the Minutemen came from a girl. I'm pretty sure. It was great though. I'm glad whoever that was. Thank you.
Thank you. It helped me many more
Yeah,
times in my life than you know.
it's amazing, amazing, amazing. What a portal.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was one of those. I think what the Minutemen for me when I heard that, it was one of those like I knew this was great, but I wasn't ready for it yet. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, man.
You can totally tell like this is something you should be into.
It's very intellectual music. And, like these guys are like playing actual like jazz runs and chords and improvising and fucking like their lyrics are all, you have to read history books to really get it. You know what I mean? It's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. It was, because I definitely, I don't know if I would have appreciated it if I was like in my teens, maybe. I like to give myself credit that I would, but who knows at that time.
Has your interpretation of the album changed since you've gotten older?
It's gotten more thorough because after nowadays I'm super tight with all those guys. Like we know all that crew. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Todd Conge over at the Sardine and Recess, and like the FYP guys and Railroad guys, and every time we see Watt, I'm always meeting somebody new. Like I met Joe Biza, Jack Brewer, George Hurley, Craig Ibarra. I don't know if you've read his book, Craig Ibarra's book, Wailing of a Town, about the Pedro scene.
I've seen it. I gotta grab it. I keep wanting to grab it, but I bet you it's
Oh, pick it
fucking
up.
great.
It's awesome. It's Pedro centric,
Yeah.
and it's so Minuteman, Suburban Lawns, all these guys are a huge part of it. And you can totally get that vibe anytime you play in Pedro. Like it's just
Mhm.
it's a family. These guys, you know what I mean? Like we recorded Culture Shock and another live album that we didn't release, but all of those we recorded at, like, Watt produced us at Casa Hanzo, Pizzo's house, the
Yeah.
organist for the Missing Men.
When you did the live album, did you kind of boingo boingo it, where you did live recordings of everything, or
Yeah, because at that time, what we wanted to do is we had already finished Culture Shock, and that was the year prior, and then we came back with a fucking lineup that we wanted to be on fire by the time we got over to him. You know what I mean? So it was like at the end of the tour. The whole tour was made to go and record with him. And Watt did this as a favor. Like he doesn't produce with people. Like a lot of people don't go into that place. That's like his private studio with Hanzo.
yeah.
And so when we went over there, it was we were just with the intention of capturing the live show, and we did it. Yeah, it wasn't like a live. It was live at the studio. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
Oingo Boingo Boingo live album is the same thing. It's two records worth of them playing all their hits from
yeah.
up
Like there
to
was no overdubbing and stuff like that. It was all live in the
yeah.
studio.
Yeah, there is.
So
I'm sure it's very minimal, but that's like the first way outside of radio stuff, that's the first way I heard Oingo Boingo was that
yeah,
way. And that's
and that
that
band's
kind of
amazing too. God, oh, you're lucky. I bet you've seen them before, right?
I didn't see Oingo Boingo as a kid, but I got to see him do that set that he did a set, oh God, 2 or 3 years ago where
At the
it's
Hollywood Bowl.
I didn't see the bowl one. He came out to Irvine and played at
Oh, that's
Irvine.
cool.
And so
Was
he
that when he was doing his soundtrack stuff?
yeah, he would go back between soundtrack and Oingo Boingo stuff and his newer album. It was great. And my,
That's
my
cool.
wife, who was
He's
into Oingo
amazing.
Boingo, was like, this was fucking great.
Yes, dude, he's a savant, man. That guy. Actually, Elfman and his background, like the whole history in Africa that they have, and like
Mhm.
the have you seen the movie the what's it called Forbidden Planet,
Forbidden
Forbidden
Zone, yeah.
Zone? Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Just a
Yeah.
great artist.
And listen, if it like 90% of those Oingo Boingo songs are ska songs too. Because he
Yeah,
went to
totally,
Jamaica
man.
as a kid, and he got and ska hit him.
You could
And
hear that vibe in there for sure.
yeah,
I
I
love
always tell
Oingo
everyone, I'm
Boingo.
like, oh, don't tell me you
You
don't like
do. I
ska.
mean,
Be like, I like
you
Oingo
do.
Boingo.
You'll definitely dig the. Actually, for sure, absolutely, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would have enjoyed the Minutemen as much if it weren't for Pettibone.
Fuck.
If it weren't for his artwork, I don't think I would have even gotten into SST as much as I did. I've been trying to get Pettibone. I've corresponded with him. You know what I mean? It's always been a dream. I'm sure every punk band wants a Pettibone
Yeah.
illustration. You know what I mean? But he's such a fucking hard dude to get it like to connect with.
Mm.
So is Greg. To be honest with you, Greg is that was another weird relationship that we had. I just saw him just recently. We played with Black Flag. He's still exactly the same dude I remember from all those years ago. But Pettibone, his artwork, I think that's because him and Mike Watt are like best friends. They are very good friends. You could absolutely, in any interview or the way Watt talks about him, it's just a total profound respect for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Pettibone is like he's like a living legend, man. I think in 100 years his artwork is going to be at the Louvre. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's,
T-
yeah.
Talk about a perfect voice for those Minutemen records. The early ones, perfect.
Yeah. And even the Black Flag stuff too is
Oh, and
great
Black
too.
Flag for sure, man. Oh my God, it just those bands wouldn't be the same. They wouldn't have a face to them without him. Just goes
Yeah.
to show how important like graphic illustration or an artist is to your presentation.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, the fucking bars. I mean, the Black Flag bars, that's supposed to represent a waving flag. And then what makes Man Starts Fires has that crazy little kid with a Molotov cocktail. You know what I mean? Because there's been quite a few releases of Pettibone artwork, like omnibuses,
Uh-huh.
but they go out of print so fast, and then they just, on Amazon, they're super expensive.
Yeah.
Like, so it's cool that they're reissuing it. I have to pick one up if I remember to do so, if I see it out there.
So yeah, so the last one though was the Instigation. No Way Out EP.
Oh, the Shanghai fucking band.
Oh my! I had to go. I found it on Bandcamp. I found it. It took me a minute, but I found it. And holy fuck, dude!
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You were talking about how you got into jazz at some point. I do that too. When I have to write, like do creative writing, I have to listen to instrumental shit because if I'll
Me
start
too.
singing
Yeah.
and I'll get distracted. So I like me a good jazz record, but I
Yes.
love me a good fucking hardcore punk record. And holy
Yes.
fuck,
And they
like
captured that shit, man. Dude, Instigation, for me, they were like unsung heroes in Shanghai. And it's very typical. Okay, so the first time I saw that band was the first year I moved to China. It was
okay,
2010, right? So it was the first, when I first got there, I didn't know I wasn't aware of a punk scene at all.
yeah,
And I remember the first time I walked into this club, which is like the main club of Shanghai called Yuyintang, right? I walked in there. There was no band playing. It was just like a DJ thing. And all of a sudden, I hear my previous band, Libyan Hit Squad, playing on the fucking on the
shit,
speakers, and I was like, "What the fuck? Who is somebody from Central Florida is in this room right now?"
mhm.
And it turns out this dude from Gainesville. His name's Brian Offenter, and he's been living there as long as I have, and he just DJs all over the Asia. And he played it, so I started talking to him. I was like, "Who the fuck are you, man?" He goes, "I saw you guys in Gainesville," and then I was asking him, "So what's there to do in this fucking city?" He goes, "The Buzzcocks are playing down the road in a week, and there's a bunch of local bands opening up the show. You should go." So I went, and I saw the Buzzcocks, and they were great. This is before Pete Shelley died and everything, so it was still like
Yeah.
the Buzzcocks, still cool. And I had seen him before, but it was great to kind of get my feet wet right away with the Shanghai Underground with that band. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the band that opened up for him were the Instigation, and that just blew me away. And it was a band, they were like just straight up fucking thrashy 80s JFA kind of sounding band. You know what I mean? And I was like all in immediately. And I was so surprised because, dude, even to this day, there are not bands like that in China. That genre never took off. Like there is a big skater community out here, but it's just you don't hear that kind of old school 80s hardcore. And that band was comprised of like a Japanese dude, Taiwanese dude, an English guy. It was a multinational band just like us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was super rad to see those guys, and they were just amazing.
I keep seeing you're bringing bands in. How do bands do, like when you brought TSOL out to China? How did they do, like ticket wise? Do they sell?
Well, it varies. Like I said, like China, as much as as much as everyone over there likes to say, "Oh, we have a scene," it's fucking tiny, man. It's really small. Like on a good night, a good weekend, you'll meet every single person you'll need to meet in the Shanghai punk scene. You know what I mean? No joke.
Yeah.
And you'll see all the places. It's minuscule. So with TSOL, with any of the bands, I brought over 24 bands to China. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like fucking Descendants, Dickies, MDC, TSOL. And, I was working on Fear, but that didn't work out. If you notice, a lot of California in there. With TSOL, every single time I have to educate the fucking masses about who these guys are. They don't know.
Yeah.
So the way that I sell it is like, oh, this is Kurt Cobain's top 10 favorite band, or like the guy, what's his name? The drummer of Guns N' Roses was wearing the TSOL t-shirt
Matt,
and Sweet Child of Mine video. And so you have to sell it like that. You have to use the big fish to lure. And so when I brought them to China, it's heavy promotion. And a lot of the people, Shanghai sold out. Shanghai was a sold out show. And I would say probably about 50% of that audience didn't know who TSOL were before they came in there. And in Shanghai, it's a multi-demographic. So it's not just the locals. It's like people from all over the world going to that show. Same thing in Beijing. Beijing less so because it's a little more stringent now, but it was still, I don't know, close to 200 at the show. But then you have shows like I booked them in Nanjing, and it was maybe 10 people at the gig. You know what I mean?
When I took pictures of the show, what you guys played with TSOL, it's a big, it's a way bigger room. And he goes, "That's the size of the crowd for TSOL your way?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "They don't even get a quarter of that when they're on the East Coast."
Yeah.
And it's insane. And that's insane to me too, because it's
fucking crazy.
I'm like, it's
like
fucking TSOL.
It's TSOL. And what's crazy is like TSOL to me, I put them in my top 5 West Coast, like a top 5 American punk bands. You know what I mean? They are so underrated. And what's crazy about that band in particular is that they're still releasing excellent music.
Yeah.
The songs, the staples in their set list now, some of them are less than 10 years old. And I've already adopted them into like their mythos. You know what I mean? Amazing band. I've seen them. And I even like their gothy days, even without Jack. I like some of that stuff too. Like Change Today, all that stuff.
When I went and saw them, I always buy a bootleg shirt just because I always think the bootleg shirts are. This is a bootleg Elvis Costello that I'm wearing actually.
Oh, and right on.
So, but I bought a TSOL one, and the TSOL one that I have, it's a picture from the self-titled album, but it's the metal, it's the gothy metal logo on it, and I'm all like, "Oh, I gotta buy this." Just because
that's funny.
I'm like, it's $10. I'm like, this is just fucking funny to me. I gotta buy this.
It's it's that you got to be careful with that logo. I'm surprised that logo was on the design, because like when I was making the flyer for the China tour, the first logo was the barbed wire TSOL one.
Yeah.
And Jack said, "Nah, that's the other band. You got to use this logo." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I just thought it was funny. Like, I'm just like, well, that I think since they're not playing right now, I think Joe Wood is touring with a band. He was calling it
He
Changes
is.
Today, right?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I had a chance, I'd go see that too
Yeah.
because I like that stuff. Not
Yeah.
all of it. I like obviously Jack's version a whole lot more, but I do like that first album that they
Yeah.
had,
They
the
were the
really
first
gothy one.
they were the first band that I saw at my very first show was TSOL.
Oh, with Joe singing
No,
or
with
with
Jack.
Jack?
It was Jack.
Okay.
It was 2000, and it was that show when Dennis Danell passed away. They did a big show out here
Mm,
for to like raise money for his family and stuff for social
mm,
distortion. So it was Social
mm.
D, Offspring, Agent Orange, TSOL, X,
Jesus. God damn.
and Pennywise.
Damn, that's a stacked bill. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and this was 2000, so this was a $30 show.
Damn. Oh, dude,
30
nowadays,
$40 show, something like that would be that's a
$100
$120 ticket in
for sure.
2026.
Totally. Thank you, Live Nation. Fucking
Yeah.
crazy, man. You know
Yeah.
what's crazy? All those people that you met that you just mentioned, I met them all on that one fucking run. All of them, including the Offspring dudes. What a weird. Those guys are all tight. They're all like really good friends.
Yeah.
It was so weird being back there. Like it was like a high school reunion. I was just
Well, because it was their last hurrah, so
crazy.
I'm sure there
Yeah,
was a
well, so
lot.
we'll see about that. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure Jack's gonna play maybe one or two shows. You know what I mean, like that, like big shows. I don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna tour again.
Yeah.
They're
No, I
certainly
mean,
not gonna do anything like China again. That's for sure.
yeah. Well, like a lot of bands are doing that though. Like Alice Bag is about to stop touring, and the X has already stopped touring, and I
Yeah,
think
man,
Fear is
our
just going
heroes are
until
getting
the wheels
older.
fall off.
Like, dude, Fear. I mean, we had that huge cancellation over here in Shanghai. I mean, these guys are they're getting older, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, and they're doing, and a lot of them are doing like a last. I've been calling it the retirement record because X did that retirement
Yeah,
record. This last Fear record seems like it's going to be the last Fear record.
yeah. And I mean,
But
bless them, man. Hell yeah, right on.
yeah, I mean, going out and the last Fear record was fine. I enjoyed it. It was fine. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
Everybody wants, even with like with anything, comics, movies, or anything. Everybody wants that thing to be as good as the first thing you saw, but it's never going to be as good as
Well,
that
it's never
first
going to be
thing.
that
Yeah.
because nostalgia plays into that. But I mean, the thing is like sometimes these bands don't really think too hard about their releases. You know, like for instance, there are bands that age quite gracefully. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Dinosaur Jr., dude, those guys are fucking releasing some of the best material they ever wrote, in my opinion, now in
Yeah.
the past 10 years. X, their last couple albums were fucking phenomenal.
The last
Alphabet Land was
two.
great.
Fuck,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah. Alphabet was fantastic. Yeah.
Fucking amazing. Amazing. It sounded wonderful. It
It
sounded
did.
just, I would stack those as high as their first
You
releases.
can throw Alphabetville in the middle of like their early discography and you couldn't tell a difference.
Yeah, totally. But then you get other bands that kind of just phone it in and release. And TSOL is also another band that releases excellent material now,
Hmm.
you know?
I'll say the other band that's like that is the Dead Milkmen. The Dead Milkmen, when they've put out the last couple records, I felt like they've been on par with their early stuff too.
Totally. Dude, I saw them. It was right before I left for China. I saw them. They fucking just released. What was it called? The Yellow King, I think it was. That was a little after I moved to China, but it was fucking so solid. It was a solid record. I think I have that on vinyl. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah,
But getting back to
Dead
the
Milkmen.
Instigation, I like that record, that EP so much. I just listened to the rest of their shit, and it was fantastic.
They're great, man. And those guys, they were in and out. You know what I mean? Like they came in there, fucking kicked some ass, and then left, and nobody talks about them in Shanghai anymore. It's a fucking shame.
Do they still play or no?
Nah, they're all gone. They all moved back to their respective places.
Oh,
And
so
one's in the
okay.
UK, one's in Japan. They're all
Ah,
fucking
fuck, they were so good. That was
good
such a good.
band. And one's
And
in
there's
Sweden or Norway or some shit.
um
It's weird. The Japanese guy lives in Norway now, and the Taiwanese guy lives in the UK now. It's fucking. That's the way it is in Shanghai, man. Like it's a super goddamn global community. I think out of all of my friends in Shanghai, I think I only know like 10% of my social group are Americans, maybe less than that.
okay.
You know what I mean? My band, it's like four different countries in it. You know what I mean? It's fucking. I'm the only American around. I'm the version you saw. The version you saw, that's all American. All those dudes.
Yeah, because I think I saw that you couldn't, not everybody can come in at that time.
No, they couldn't get in.
Or was it, were
So I
they,
was.
What were they saying? Just that they just wouldn't let him. Why would they let him in?
Some it depends on where they're from. Some was visa issues, and some of
Oh,
them
okay.
was just life stuff. Like they couldn't get in, they couldn't get off of
Oh,
work. But I was the only one that was totally free, and luckily I had a bunch of like a lot of people who are transplants to China. Like they get there and become musicians, right? Like they discover that about themselves. Whereas I came from a punk rock scene in Florida,
mhm.
to China, so I brought all that shit with me. So all of the people that you saw play with me on that night, they were all old friends from the Florida punk scene
Oh,
and
okay.
Jersey punk scene. Like the drummer it was Dave Scott from AOD, and Chris and Abe were from the '80s hardcore band No Fraud and Gangrene, and the
Oh shit.
saxophone player was the longtime saxophone player for the Toasters.
I just saw them like
So
I think I just saw them. They just played out my way like right before I think I oh right after I went and saw them in the Garden Grove. They played.
Toasters,
Yeah,
yeah,
because you guys
No
played in
Fraud was just
January
over
at the
there too.
beginning of January, and I saw them at the end of January.
Oh, right on. That's cool. I don't think he plays with them anymore, but
Oh,
he was with them for about 10 years, for a long time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was
No
that
Fraud
was.
went over there. They played over at the Sardine a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I love the sardine.
Yeah, it's a great place. They got that giant picture of D Boon on the
Yeah.
hood. It's cool.
Oh, fuck, so good. Um,
Yeah, but Instigation, what a great fucking band. Yeah, no, but and it's sad because it's like it always pisses me off because everyone China, when people discuss the heyday of the punk scene, they always exclude bands like that. They never talk about Instigation, but they always talk about fucking bands like Carsick Cars and PK-14 like constantly. And
are
I'm
those
just like,
what kind of
dude,
bands are they? Punk rock
they're
wise.
more like dude. Okay, I'll encapsulate them perfectly. They're fine guys, but like Carsick Cars is Sonic Youth and PK-14 is Fugazi, like that kind
Oh,
of
okay.
fucking, you know what I mean? That kind of
That's
punk rock and those kinds of influences.
talking about, the bands that you're importing essentially into China, like that's got to be interesting as hell. I mean,
It's not easy.
yeah.
I mean, I do it just because like there's a lot of reasons why I do it. I mean, of course, I mean I'm just like I've been doing DIY stuff since I was a teenager, so it's networking. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And also, I do it because I want Shanghai to feel a little bit more like home. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
none of this stuff will ever come out to us if I just rely on the promoters that are already over there. Because they only go with what sells easy. You know.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting fucking Paul Collins or fucking MDC, yeah, they're not. And plus, it's communist, right? They're not going to invite millions of dead cops out to fucking communist China.
Yeah.
You know, and so I have to fucking it takes a dude like me to fucking alter their lyrics and change their fucking band name to fool the Ministry of Culture. So whenever I submitted Millions of Dead Cops, I changed their name to Millions of Delicious Candies, and that got them right in. You know, what I mean?
That's
True Sounds of Liberty. I had to take out Liberty and put True Sounds of Love.
I usually ask this question, and because it's usually works a little bit better, but I have to ask: would this have been a band you would have been into at an earlier age?
Fuck yeah, totally, 100%. They would have fallen right in there. You could have put them like side by side with the Descendants record I was listening to at the time. I would have thought they were from that time period. Excellent band, especially that EP,
Fuck, that
the
EP
one
is
with
so good.
the Bad Brains hitting the Shanghai Pearl Tower.
They're
Yeah,
covering Black Flag and the Circle Jerks.
Black
They're
Flag.
oh
Yeah,
Reagan Youth. They're doing Degenerated,
yeah,
and I was
Reagan
like,
Youth. That's
fuck
right. That's right.
yeah.
And dude, I was like so stoked when I first saw them because they weren't really they weren't hitting the audience the way that they were hitting me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everybody was there to see the fucking Buzzcocks, and they weren't. It was kind of a lame crowd, but I was listening to them, and I was like, "Fuck me! I'm so glad that there is a band like that here." You know what I mean? Super cool, and became fast friends with those dudes.
Okay, so do you feel like there's a theme or feeling or through line through the choices that you made for your records that kind of ties everything together?
Well, I was thinking that's why it was so difficult because I had to kind of separate it from just my personal tastes in music.
Hmm.
So instead of records that I listen to all the time, I was thinking of like records that really made an impact and changed the trajectory of my life. You know what I mean? So Instigation was my first step into the Chinese underground as a participant. You know what I mean? Like it was the first
Yeah.
band that I got to know, and there was no divide. And I happened to love their fucking music. So it was my doorway in there. Green Goblin Project was my doorway into being learning DIY musicianship and like how to network and how to talk to people outside of my small Citrus County, Florida. You know, it showed me a bigger world than my little town.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Instigation introduced me to the global community. Green Goblin introduced me to my local community. And Minutemen introduced me to the national community. Like Minutemen, I mean, we're still totally involved with Watt and everything that goes on in Pedro. Like we stay over at Chachy's from last time we were over there, or fucking practice at Todd's house. I mean, it's just such a, what's the word? Familial, you know, it's very, very like,
Yeah.
it's very close.
It's still very community,
close-knit.
and they've accepted you into the Pedro one.
Yeah, it's so cool. And such a great way to discover new music. So that's how I picked those things. Maybe not this Vietnam soundtrack, but that was probably like my earliest memory of listening to,
But like you
like,
said, I
picking out
mean,
bands.
it was you recognize, your brain recognized something because it was, you know, like you said, it was the punk rock DJ, and you know, even if the movie's a little played up a bit, you know, however you got there, you got there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it was the DJ aspect that I enjoyed about the movie. It wasn't like the Vietnam, it wasn't the conflict. And it's what's also funny that how that movie plays into my life a little bit is like I first went over to China to be an English teacher,
Oh,
and that's how
really?
that dude met all of his Vietnamese friends was by teaching English. You know what I mean? The Robin Williams
Yeah, yeah.
English in that class. So it's like it's weird, like how I you could look at that, the perspective it could be seen as that, you know, the fish out of water going to the Asian cultures kind of thing. Most people when they jump ship like that, because I didn't know anybody in China. I came out to China for just to escape America, right?
Yeah.
And the first job I ever had to get the foot in the door with a work visa was an English job at a teaching community center called EF. Shit job, terrible, fucking horrible. I hated it.
Yeah.
But then as soon as people usually do a stepping stone like that to get into the international schools. And that's where I'm a music teacher now. And I've been a music teacher for the past 10 years.
Oh, awesome.
So but I had to go through that door to get to where I am now.
When you
Yeah, Watts met my students. I brought Mike Watt into my music class.
Oh, that would have been a. Did they have any idea who Watt was? Because you've
I
been a
introduced him.
teacher, or
Like, yeah, like I prepped him. I gave him a prompt. And so I was teaching him about the bass guitar and about rudiments of like what punk rock was. And then I told him we're going to have a very special guest come in. This is fifth graders, right? We're
yeah,
going to have a very special guest come in. His name's Mike Watt. And he's going to play a couple songs for you. And he played one song was a Dose song. And he was so nervous. I'd never seen Watt that nervous. He was nervous as fuck, man. Playing for 15, 10-year-olds.
you know, this guy who backed Iggy Pop in how many fucking big venues was like nervous
I
about
know, dude.
15,
Playing
5
with
seventh
Iggy.
graders.
Hanging out with Madonna, you know what I mean? And he's super nervous about playing to these kids.
That's awesome. That's so awesome to hear about Watt. Where you know what I mean? Like that's what you're saying. He's super humble, and if he's nervous about what, like you said, 15, 10-year-olds feel like, and doesn't give a shit about like a theater full of people.
Totally. He's totally grounded, man. You know what I mean? As a very human man. I love that guy.
Thank you for listening to 4 Records. Please check us out on Instagram at 4 Records Podcast, or email us at 4recordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.